Imagine this, you are a startup founder and you are sipping on the third coffee of your day, and now you come across Webflow, you are scrolling through their sleek website, and then you go to the pricing page and you see, hey, $18 per month, that's super cheap, and you make the decision to build your website over there. Fast forward 3 months later, you are the one reading through all the different Webflow tutorials. Your website still looks like shit, more like a PowerPoint presentation from the 2000s than a stunning website, and you just got a quote from a Webflow agency for $20,000. What the actually happened? That's exactly what we are going to break down today. We are going to take a look at all the different options on how you can actually build your website. So DIY, going with a freelancer or with an agency. And we also talk about all the costs that you need to consider when moving to Webflow that are despite the actual Webflow pricing. By the end, you know exactly what's right for you. So let's dive in. Let's start with the numbers that Webflow actually shows to you. Yes, you can get started for free, but if you want a professional website, and that means you want to have your own custom domain, you need to start with a paid plan. And we are going to take a look at the different paid plans now. Let's start off with a basic plan. $18 per month, super good plan for those that get started out, so you don't have any kind of dynamic content, just want to have your website live with your custom domain. Then we are going over to the CMS plan. The CMS plan is the next bigger plan. It starts at $29 per month, and it's super good if you want to have dynamic content on your website. Most of the time, this means things like a blog, for example. And then afterwards, if you want to upgrade your plan, there is a business plan. That's basically just the CMS plan, but in a more advanced way, means you can have more items and more flexibility when it comes to your website. And this one is starting at $49 per month. And then there is an e-commerce plan that's starting at $42 per month. This is specifically for those who want to sell products on their Webflow website. It works very well for smaller stores, but if you want to be very serious about selling online, you should rather go over to Shopify. And I have a separate video on this that I will also link up here. Okay, so all of these costs sounds reasonable, right? Yes, but I mean, having a subscription with Webflow is actually like renting out an empty office space. So you still need desk, you need furniture. And in the Webflow world, that means you need the website itself, you need the functionality, you need branding. So someone that really brings the functionality of Webflow to life. And to understand more about this, we are going to break it down now in the different options that you can choose for yourself. And we are looking at DIY, freelancers, and agencies. Also, we are going to look at the price. So what does building a website really cost, and what option should you choose? So what's the real price of building a website? That really depends on who is actually doing it. Let's start off with option number 1, DIY. You might be thinking, I just learned it myself and I will build my own website. Okay, you can do it if you actually know how to do it from previous experiences building websites actually. But if you are a real beginner, learning Webflow might take between 50 to 100 hours of your time. And then there are still 2 options. First option is you are going to build everything from scratch, means you need to do the design and the development. There's the option to use a template. There's a Webflow template marketplace. You can buy a template between 50 to 200 bucks, and that's a really good starting point. So the layout is there, the design is there, and you can just change out your content. And that makes it super fast to get a website up and running. But obviously that also means this is a very generic site. It's not customized to your needs, and it's mostly there for smaller static websites, let's say. In the end, DIY can work, but oftentimes I see founders or marketers getting super frustrated because it doesn't look as it is supposed to look. And then second up, obviously, it will take a lot of their time to get it started, but then also in the maintenance part of it. Option number 2, freelancer. So maybe you don't have the budget for a full-blown Webflow agency, but you still want to outsource some of the work, then the freelancer would be a middle ground. You can find freelancers anywhere online. You can find them on the website itself, but also on Upwork or any other platform. And basically, they are starting off at rates of, I don't know, $500 or something, and then up to a couple of $1,000s for the work that is needed to get your website up and running. Obviously, if the website is more complex, also a freelancer would charge more. And then if it means CMS, more complex animations or even integrations, also a freelancer can charge anywhere between 5 to 20K possibly for the whole Webflow website. In terms of charging, so the freelancer either charges a fixed price or an hourly rate. If we are talking about the hourly rate, it's something between $50 to $150 per hour, depending also on the skill set of the freelancer and the location. Timing-wise, a good freelancer can get your website up and running in 3 to 6 weeks, basically. But also keep in mind, if you are going for the cheap option, there's also a huge risk that you have a half-baked website in, a couple of months or something. And also make sure to vet your freelancers accordingly. So also the way the website is built is made for scale. So means that also if you want to hire someone else later on in the process, that they can take over from that freelancer. So that's super, super important when working with them. Option number 3 is hiring an agency. So this is the most, let's say, upscale variant that you can take. And it means also the least work for you while also having the best quality in most of the times. So most Webflow agencies, they are not just creating your website, but they are also your consultants. Oftentimes they are doing the branding, they are doing integrations, they are doing the project management. So making really, really sure everything runs smooth in the first place. Also that your website is built in a way that it can scale over time. Because this is one of the main advantages of Webflow. If you are building it as a startup, for example, you can use the website till you are a unicorn, a company with hundreds of clients, millions of revenue, and there's no problem in scaling. In terms of the quality of the agencies, obviously there are different tiers. So you can get an agency a very, very low rate, but also you can get a high-end agency, and you need to do some vetting yourself on where the agency is located, but also I would specifically look at past work, because this is the best indicator, also their future work, and in the end there needs to be also a personal fit between you and them. So if we are talking small agency, what's the cost for a basic website? It's probably somewhere between 3 to 8K. And then if you have a mid-tier agency, we are probably talking more between 8 to 20K for a basic website. And then you have the high-end websites that can be anywhere between 20 to a couple of 100K, also depending on your needs and all the services that are included. Always make sure to have a very, very clear scope on the things that you want to accomplish, and then you can also batch it in a sense. So starting off with a smaller project and then extending over time. Now you will ask yourself, why is it so expensive to work with an agency? I mean, in the end, it gives you peace of mind. These are experts that have been doing it for a long time. They know exactly what they are doing, and obviously that means there are a lot of services included. This can be everything from optimizing your website for SEO, doing branding, doing integrations, but also consulting you on the best setup going forward. And these are all the things that you are paying when you are hiring an actual agency. But most of the time, your website is the place where all of the customers from you go to. Investors go there, future employees go there. So it's super important for your business, and the ROI of a really, really good website can be insane. Probably one of the best in all of the business world or businesses that you are doing. Make sure to choose wisely in which direction you are going. Now you will ask yourself, why does one Webflow website cost 2K and one 20, 30 or 40K? It all comes down to the complexity and things that you want. So let's break down the biggest cost drivers for any Webflow website. The first one is customization and design complexity. The more unique your website is, obviously the more expensive it will be. So if it's a super basic website that has just some sections on the landing page, that has your logo up on the top and then less colors, obviously it will be cheaper than a website that has a crazy amount of interactions, animation, motion designs flowing around, and in the end you can just guess yourself. The more complex you want to have it, the more expensive it will be, because someone needs to build it, and in the end you are paying for the hours that they spend. So if you want a very, very minimalist, sleek website, obviously it will be cheap. And this is also relevant for the timing, because if it's a super basic, simple website, just one landing page, it can be set up in a week or two. But if it's something super complex with animations, interaction, this might take a month, 2 or even 3 months to set up. If you want to save on this, that means you can use a Webflow template, because they already have a very simple design. And if you don't need something special, then you can save a lot of money there. Or also you can reduce the amount of complexity when it comes to design to save you some money. Second cost driver is integrations. So whenever you want to integrate Webflow into any other tools like your CRM, for example, or your mailing provider, that means someone needs to actually think about how to do it and then build it. The less integrations you have, the more costs you will save. The more integrations you have, the more expensive your website will be. For example, if you want to integrate HubSpot into your Webflow website, you can do it. Number 3, SEO and performance optimization. A fast, high-ranking website doesn't happen by accident. And Google rewards them for sure, but there are a lot of steps that need to be taken that require some extra effort. Proper meta tagging and structured data, optimizing Webflow code and image sizes, setting up SEO-friendly URLs. Some of these things you can do yourself, but if you want to have an expert that is doing all of this obviously comes at an extra cost. If you want to save here, yes, you can do stuff yourself, but in the end, it comes down to your priorities. If the website is not priority number 1, if it's not so important for your business, then maybe a static website with self-optimized images and meta tags is fine for you. If you want something that is a little bit more upscale and also working well in terms of showing your business, presenting ROI for your business, then you should really go for an expert. The good thing with Webflow is you can always start small and then scale later. But which option is right for you? So now we have looked at all the different options and you will ask yourself which option is right for you. Let's break it down. Number 1, DIY. So if you just need a basic to test things out, or if it's a personal, this might be the best option for you. You can use a template, learn a little bit how to use Webflow and then ramp up your own website. Number 2, hiring a freelancer. So if you want a professional website, but still your budget is very, very limited, you can just go find them and then they can ramp up a website that is looking nice in a couple of weeks for a couple of $1,000. Number 3, working with an agency. If you need a website that really scales, that looks beautiful, and that drives business outcome, you should work together with an agency because they are the experts and they know what they are doing. So it's especially good for funded startups or companies that are already a little bit bigger. And also, if you need some help doing this for your business, make sure to check out Magier.com, our Webflow agency. If you have any questions around this, just book yourself a demo or ping me. Okay, now let's do the reality check. How much does your Webflow website really cost? No, it's not the $18 that you will find on their website. As you saw, there are so many things involved in getting your website up and running. So option number 1, DIY. So here's what you can realistically expect. DIY means you need to spend a lot of your time doing it and you will spend somewhere between $0 to $500 to actually do it. Freelancers are the best choice if you have little budget but still want professional help. You will spend anywhere between $1,000 to $10,000 for your website. And then you have the final choice, the experts, the agencies, where you can spend anywhere between 10K to 50K or even 100K, depending on the scale, but also complexity of your website. So now it's up to you to get your Webflow website up and running. I'm curious, which of those options will you be going for? Drop it in the comments below. Also make sure to subscribe to the channel for more marketing and Webflow content, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.